Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to give it a few minutes more just to wait for anyone else that's just slightly late joining, and then we'll start. So just a couple minutes more. So good morning, everyone. My name is Darren, and for those of you that haven't listened to one of my webinars before or spoken to me, I'm a service manager from Care First. It's important to say I'm not a counsellor, I am a service manager. Just want to go over some sort of housekeeping rules for today's webinar. So if anyone has any questions, there should be a questions pane on the right hand side of your screen. Any questions that you want to ask, please fire away and put them in there, and I'll at the end of the webinar I will go through the questions. I won't read out who they're from, I'll keep them confidential, so I'll just read out the question then and answer them as best I can. So yeah, just in terms of, so today's webinar is on management support, and in particular the management support that Care First can offer to you. So we shall start. So one of the things that I find really important with any terms of sort of manager procedures within your organisations is regular communication, especially with everything that's ongoing at the moment. So especially the more frequent this is, the better. So even if it's saying to someone that something's not actually changed from when you had your conversation last week, I think actually a real good example of this is, I'm going to talk about my sister a little bit. So the company that she works for isn't one that Care First looks after. But basically, all her shifts have been moved around because of obviously COVID and the pandemic. So normally she works in a bar, but obviously that's not been possible with everything that's going on at the moment. But she's been really worked up and worried because basically she literally found out what shift she's doing this week yesterday, and she has 2 young kids to look after, so it's been very, very stressful for her because she hasn't known what's going on. And I think one of the things that would have actually helped is if the manageress had actually just said to her, look, we're not really sure what's going on at the minute. We're still waiting for some guidance or some more, of what's going on. But I will let you know on Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it may be. And if these shifts don't work for you, we can always adjust them or whatever. But she literally didn't hear nothing. So it's just keeping everyone up to date, even if you haven't got any news or if the news hasn't changed, because they might be at home sort of anxious and a little bit stressed about what's going on and arrangements for childcare or whatever it may be. So yeah, just obviously regular communication. So having the right resources in place. So as I say, we look after a number of organisations. So some of you that are listening to this might already be back at work. Some of you might be preparing to go back to the office. Some of you might be sort of half and half. So you might have some people that are back on the front line working, but your office staff might not be. So it's just trying to get everything in place for when you can go back to work or when them departments return, or for the people that are already there, making sure that they've still got the right resources in place of PPE, social distancing, reminding them of what's going on in regards to that. So in terms of like returning to the office, risk assessments, getting all the getting PPE in place, but again, keeping everyone in the know of what's going on. So letting your employees know what is happening within the organisation. Are you checking with them if there's any additional PPE that they might require, or any worries that they've got about returning to work? Is there any sort of extra needs that they might need? So it's just when you're having your one-to-one conversations, just checking that they're happy when they do return to work. All the concerns, stuff around that for them. Again, trust and flexibility. So again, when you're having your one-to-one conversations, is there anything that's going to be different? Is there anything for that individual that you might be able to do slightly different for them because they're concerned? So it could be that they've got a vulnerable person at home that they're worried about. So they might be worried about, I don't know, returning to the office or work because they're worried that if they catch COVID and pass it on to them. Whatever it may be, it's just having a conversation with them and trusting them, so maybe changing their hours around because they've got childcare and the kids aren't back at school, or whatever it may be. Just try and consider if you can help them, but obviously it has to work for your organisation as well. So it's just, again, working as a team with your employees to get the best for both parties. So I'm going to come on a little bit there. The slides that we spoke about are a little bit on some of the thoughts of things that you can do, but this is more about the management service that Care First can actually provide to you. So this isn't to take away from anything in-house that you may have. So, by all means, speak to your HR team, speak to your line manager, regional manager, whatever they may be. But what we can offer is something confidential away from the workplace. So to give you an example of this, my background as a retail manager, one of the things that might have happened to me is, say for example, I was doing a performance review and the person that I was doing it with hadn't performed very well, and I was a little bit concerned about having that conversation, not sure how to go about it. I might not actually feel comfortable ringing my boss, which would have been my regional manager, and saying to him, I'm not really sure how to have this conversation. I'm a little bit worried about it, just for the fear that he might then think that I don't know how to do my job. And that might have been something that would have gone through my mind. So what I could have done is, if was with Care First, I could give Care First a call and speak to one of our counsellors and just said, look, I'm worried about having this conversation, and just got some independent advice on it. So they would give me some guidance around how I could do that. And again, that's away from the workplace. So my boss wouldn't know about it. I wouldn't feel worried that they don't know how to do my job. And that might just reassure me and like I say, give me some advice on how I can handle that situation. It could also be that when you're having a conversation at work with one of your team, that you might be worried about that person's well-being. They might have said some things to you and you're actually concerned for them. So the management service can also be for that. You can ring up and say that you're concerned about a person and get some advice on how best to handle that situation. So it could be that we might say that you could informally refer them. So when you are having the conversation with that person, if they are worried or they've got some issues and you think Care First could help them, you could talk about Care First to them, and you could do what's called an informal referral. So basically, with that person's permission, you would ring Care First, explain the situation, and then what the counsellor would then do is get you to hand over the phone to that person. You would leave the room, and then they can obviously talk to the counsellor. So stuff like that you can do. Obviously, that's been done slightly different with all the social distancing, etc., that's been happening at the minute. Sorry, but you can do stuff like that. Again, our management service. So if there's been a critical incident at your organisation, and as a manager, it might be that you've not had that before. It's something that you don't know how to handle. You're really worried about. you can ring into Care First and just get some support around what might be the measures to put in place to help, what you can do. So again, there's lots that we can do to support you around your roles, because one of the things with being a manager is, particularly from my experiences, you think that you've got to have all the answers, and actually that's not always the case. So it's just a service that you can use to get some support around your role. So coming on to our lifestyle website. So on our lifestyle website, which you should all have a login to, if you haven't, just ask your HR team for the lifestyle logins for your organisation. I can't share them on here because obviously we support lots of organisations, and you all have your own unique login details. But you'll see there's a managers area on there, and you can go there to actually read some articles, and there's some good literature on there about certain situations that you might require support about. So it might be that you don't want to ring up, but you want to go onto the lifestyle website and have a bit of a look at some articles. You can, of course, also ring up as well. But just moving on, so this is what's under that area. So you'll see under the managers area, you've got social media, managing a team, conflict, manager resources, and then there's subcategories there. So it might be that actually you're a manager of a team and you've got an individual that you think is actually very difficult to manage. You struggle with them. They tend to be difficult. So you could go on there and have a look at that article, and actually it will give you some advice about how to manage that situation. And if you then don't get the answer from that, you could ring Care First and get some support from an actual individual. And there's obviously some other areas there as well that you can look on. So it's just showing you the sorts of things that we can help with, and this will give you an idea of the sorts of things that you can phone in about as well. So I hope that helps. And then moving on to the last slide, this is just saying that if anyone does want to contact us, if you get the number from your HR team, again, because different organisations might have a different number to ring in on, and also our lifestyle details are there as well. For you to go onto that site, you'll just need to get your username and password, again, from your HR or people team. If anyone has any questions, I will stay online now and you can ask them on the right hand side. However, I've also put my email address on these slides in case there's something that you think of maybe later on. So if anyone has any questions in relation to management support or anything shared on these slides, please feel free to put them in now. I'll give you a few minutes just to put anything on the side. There's nothing coming yet, but it'd be nice to get a few questions. So I've just had what I thought was the first question come through, but it's just saying thank you. Oh, there's another one come through, so that's good. Any advice surrounding absences whilst working remotely? It's a very good question. It depends on the organisation. I know, for example, that we have to. So to give you an idea on what we do is we sign into a phone system, because obviously if anyone rings into the office and wanted to speak to me, then it can be transferred to me. So that's our way of managing that we're actually in. I would say speak to your HR team. It depends on your process. I don't know if you have something where you sign in, what you're doing. It is obviously a bit more difficult to manage. Yeah, that would be my my personal advice. I'm sorry if that isn't the best answer, but it is a bit more tricky working remotely. Someone's just asked, do we have to set up our own login? I'm guessing that's in relation to the lifestyle website. So you you won't. So each organisation that we support, you'll have your login for your organisation. So, for example, I'm making this up, so don't try it. But say Care First are an organisation that we supported ourselves. That sounds a bit weird, but say Care First. So the username for Lifestyle might then be Care First, and the password might be Care First 1000. And that would be for all the employees of Care First to use it. If you ask your HR team, or you can email me after darren.mitchell@care-first.co.uk, and I can have a look for you to find out what them login details might be. But your HR team will have them. And just being asked, are we able to get a copy of the PowerPoint, please? And could you just clarify all the different areas that Care First can support? All as loads. So yeah, in terms of the PowerPoint, I can do that. I'll send that to this person that's asked, because I can see who's asked. So I'll send you the PowerPoint. If anyone else would like the slides, if you drop me a message in the questions pane just saying that you want the PowerPoint, and I'll send them to you as well. In terms of what we can help with, there is absolutely, there's so much we do. Obviously, from counselling, so you've got family issues, relationship issues, bereavement, could be anything such as, even the fact that you're working remotely at the minute that you're struggling with. It could be that you've been moved desks at work. You've been in the same place for 30 years, but all of a sudden now you've had to move because of social distancing. It can be stuff like finances, debt, legal information, housing, benefits. Could be that you've had a parking fine and you need some advice about that. There's so much. The best thing to actually do in terms to get a really good feel of what we do support with is to go onto the Lifestyle website, have a look around that. You'll get a really good feel. And there are some awareness presentations that we've done. Again, if you go onto the Lifestyle website, about halfway down on the left-hand side, all the webinars that we've done so far, the links to them are there. So if you go on there and have a look at an awareness presentation, there's about a 15-20 minute presentation of all the services that we offer, and you'll get a lot more examples of the sorts of things there. But I hope that helps a bit there. Yeah, so someone's just saying that their login details for them are on their intranet. So it might be that they're on your intranet as well, or on a poster or something that your HR team have sent to you before, maybe. A few people are asking for the slides, so like I say, that's fine. I can see all your names on there, so after I'll send them out. Someone's just asked me, how long do the webinars stay available for, please? As far as I know, there's no limit on them, so they should last for a while. I mean, we have uploaded them onto our own sort of YouTube as well, so we have access to them. So there's no reason why they should go anywhere. So the answer is, I will say unlimited, unless someone comes back to me in years' times, but there is no real sort of limit on how long they're available for. Someone said that some of their webinars are no longer loading up. Basically, there was a little bit of a technical issue with the platform that we use. So all them links are now being changed. So if you maybe give it, say, a week and go back and try them again, we're just changing where the links go to. So they'll change from this platform to our YouTube account. But yeah, basically, we knew there was an issue with some of them, so they are being resolved, but we have still got them. So give it a week and go back and then try them again. Someone's asking me how they find out the login details for Zest. So again, that would be go through your HR or people team, ask them. Then if they haven't got them, they can email myself and or their service manager from Care First, and we'll be able to provide them to them. With Zest, that is not everyone has full access to Zest, so that depends on your access limits to what your login would be. But yeah, just check with your HR team. So someone's just put, I am a manager shielding and struggling with supporting my team whilst being at home. Is this something I can come to you for support with? I see no reason why you cannot. No, give our team a ring and just explain that situation to them. It depends on the situation, really. If you're shielding from home, are you still working, or are you shielding and you're off at the minute? Because I'm guessing if you're off, then um, someone else maybe would be managing the team. But you can certainly ring, and our counsellors will try and help. And that's fine. I'll just wait to see if there's any more that comes through, but I hope that helps everyone. I always think if there's something that you're not sure of in terms of management support, just ring and ask anyway. It's worth just ringing. Um, if it's something like you're shielding and you're not sure, you're struggling to support your team from home, just ring and sort of see. Like I say, a lifestyle website's a really good way of having a look as well. So yeah, as long as it's in relation to management support, just sort of ring, explain the situation, and our counsellors will do their best to help. It's important to say that all our counsellors are sort of management trained, and the majority have worked in sort of management or worked in outside companies, organisations as well. So they're not just should we say, gone to university, got their degree, done all their counselling, gone straight into it. We do like our counsellors to have worked in organisations, and so they can relate to people. Perfect. Well, that's great. Well, thank you all for attending today. I hope you found that useful, and that you can benefit from that service. So if anyone has any further questions, like I say, my email address is there. I'll send the slides to everyone that's asked. That'll be at some point this afternoon. And like I say, if anyone has any further questions, just drop me an email. And have a lovely weekend and take care. Thank you. Bye.